Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Positivity Voice live stream. I'm super excited to have our special guest today, Deja Fitzwater, and get to know more about her and her passions. Before we begin, I wanted to kind of give you an overview of the Positivity Voice. I started this in 2020 as part of my service initiative to be able to bring some positivity back onto social media and get to really hear stories. I think stories are so impactful, and I always feel very inspired getting to hear and learn from people. So I hope you can find something that you take away from this live stream. And I'm very, very excited to get to talk to Deja today. So I see that she has joined. Hi, Deja.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Just got off a shift at Starbucks, so
Oh
ready
my
to
goodness.
be here and talk to you.
I love it. Thank you so much for finding time to talk with me. I didn't know you work at Starbucks. That's
Yes.
exciting.
Yes, I've been a barista for about 5 years. It's been like the only job I've ever had.
Wow.
So,
You know all the secrets, the
I
best
do.
drinks.
I do.
What's your like to go order, like the one that you always get?
I feel like it changes on the week. Sometimes I'm in a coffee mood, sometimes I'm in a tea mood, sometimes I'm in a chai mood, a matcha mood. It just depends on the day. Today, I've been drinking a lot of green teas lately because I'm preparing for my trip to Kansas City. So I want to make
Oh,
sure I'm
okay.
de-bloated and having all my good stomach things happening this week. So green tea with
Yes.
some stevia, that is the go-to.
Nice. I've never had green tea before, I
What?
don't think. Yes, I've
Oh my
always just been
gosh.
like a coffee person. So
Oh
I've
man.
never tried it. Maybe I will. I'll try that order next time. Awesome. So I see some people have joined on, so we can kind of go ahead and get started. Thank you again for joining on, and thank you everyone who has been tuning on. I'm sure we'll have some people tuning on and asking questions shortly. But I kind of wanted to start off just by having you introduce yourself, things that you're involved in, and your hobbies.
Yeah, for sure. My name is Deja Fitzwater. I am the National American Miss 24-25 teen. So I represent the entire United States of America's teens. And I would say my hobbies would include reading, crocheting, working at Starbucks. So I always try out new Starbucks drinks all the time. And I love working out and going on runs. And let's see, I feel like you asked me for one other. Oh, what I'm involved in the community. I am very involved with Ronald McDonald House Charities. It's a large part of my life. I've been volunteering there since I was 5 years old, so well over a decade now. And I absolutely adore raising money, whether that's through fun runs or golf tournaments or just asking people for money to help the organization. It's very close to my heart.
I love that. And I had not known that you've been volunteering since you were 5. I've also been volunteering with the Ronald McDonald House for a while now, so that's amazing to hear. What got you started with the Ronald McDonald House?
Well, my mom has always been a believer of good works, and so um, she kind of introduced that to me at a very young age. And so then as I got older, I kind of took that with me. And whether that was through an organization I created when I was young, or if that was just through showing up and making a meal with my mom from Ronald McDonald House for a local house, I mean, it had a lot of different ranges. And then when I continued in high school, I was actually asked to join the teen board for Ronald McDonald House Charities. And so it was a group of teens who helped make decisions for fundraising purposes. Most Ronald McDonald Houses across the United States have these types of committees. So we were the first ever teen board created for Ronald McDonald House. So that was really fun and very special to be a part of. And now as an adult, well, I guess I'm still a teen, but like, as I'm older, what we've tried to focus on at Ronald McDonald House is just making sure the house itself has all its needs, making sure that they are fulfilled in every capacity, whether that would mean hands-on or just donating some cans of soup and a bag of flour so that people can make some food for themselves.
That's awesome. And it seems like you do a wide variety of things. I feel like that is something that's so special about the Ronald McDonald House is that you could do so much, right? It's like more than just a meal. Like you can, go beyond that. And I think it's so cool that you had like a team board. I've never heard of that before.
Yes.
So that's wonderful. It really allows you to kind of delve into the organization hands-on. So that's amazing.
Thank you.
Has there been like a special project that you've done that's been, memorable or that was like your yes, I did it moment?
Like at Ronald McDonald House or just in general?
In general and in the community?
Um, Well, I mean, I did. So I have received my Girl Scout bronze, silver, and gold awards. So with that comes they've changed it, but when I was doing it, it was, I think your bronze award was like 10 or 15 hours. And then your silver award was like 25 or 30 hours or something. And then a volunteer service. And
Yeah.
then your gold award was 100 or 80 or 125. I don't know. I honestly forgot, but it's like, somewhere it's a lot of hours of community service.
I'm sure.
So then each step of the way were those I did it moments for me because they were each a like milestone in my life for community service and showing me that I can help other people and that people still every day continue to need being helped. So when I was young for the bronze award, I made and like handmade and knitted purple hats for shaken baby syndrome
Oh,
awareness and donated those to hospitals. I think I made like 20 some of them. And then for my silver award, for 2 years, it took me to gain the hours. I did a toy drive for Ronald McDonald House Charities for their Christmas toy store. And that was really fun. We got thousands of toy donations for a Portland, Oregon metro area. And then my senior year, junior year of high school, I got my Girl Scout Gold Award. And that was really hard. And it was basically just collecting dog and cat supplies and then making those into adoption baskets to help families get on their feet when they adopt an animal and like to promote rescues and not shopping for your pets instead of rescuing them. And we did that in the form of fandom type things. So if you ever heard of a fandom, it's like a group of people that like one particular thing. So mine was all about Harry Potter. And so each basket was themed in regards to Harry Potter for 50 dogs and 50 cats. And so it was just a really fun experience to work with my community in each one. I don't know, that was like really long and a rambly type thing. But the whole point is that for Deja, like little Deja, middle Deja, older Deja, each of those things were so important and like what I centered my life around and community service around at that time. And so those are what inspire me today to keep volunteering.
That's so awesome. I mean, it's really cool to see that structure within Girl Scouts, even, that motivate you to continue to do more. And, from what I heard, it seems like it progressively got more intense.
Yes.
And you're doing a lot more hands-on with the community and you're doing a lot more connecting with people as well. So that is so incredible to hear about. I always feel so inspired hearing all the different ideas and all the different things that people do is because it's so much good in the world, and I think that's something we really really need. Hmm. For sure, I love that. So how is that kind of translated? You mentioned obviously graduating high school and into college. How has your service kind of come with you as you've been in college?
Yeah, it is so difficult to be as active in my community in college. Because it's for me in my college experience, I've constantly been going to new places, and so I did college in high school at a community college in Oregon, and then I went to a university in Alabama, and then now I'm at another university in Idaho, and then hopefully I'm going to stay here, but you never know what might happen. So having to resettle in and just taking service with me has almost been impossible, but applying service into my daily life is the key way to stay involved. So In Alabama, I was a part of this very big church called Church of the Highlands. One of the most amazing experiences was being able to be a part of that church. I still am, and then serve with them. We did serve day, I think once a week, like on Saturdays. Technically, it was like prayer day, serve day, but then once every first Saturday, that is our big serve Saturday of the month. And so we were able to go and build wheelchair ramps for someone who was homebound. We were able to make lunches and snacks for students in our local schools. And so I was able to help out a lot during that type of capacity, as well as Ronald McDonald House, Birmingham, as well. Just some donations here and there, which was really nice. Then moving on from that, I then came to Idaho, and it's like, well, what am I doing in Idaho? Well, right now I am actively working on a crochet project where I'm making hats to donate to local senior centers, and that is going to be something I'm actually debuting on my Instagram here in the next couple of weeks. And I'm very excited to show all my hard work and perseverance and a lot of rows being taken out in those crochet projects, let me tell you. But it's been very fun. And then and whenever I go back to Oregon, or whenever I go anywhere where I had already previously served, like at church even in Alabama as well, um, I will go and make sure I do at least a service project in one of those areas when I'm visiting those places, even if it's just for a week or a weekend or something like that. It's very important to me to have that continuity. And so when I visited Oregon for about a week in December, I think every single day I was doing something else. So that was the Portland Children's Book Bank. All of this is on my page, but Portland Children's Book Bank, Ronald McDonald House Charities. I donated to a local school supply drive. I donated products to a women's health center. I mean, just all sorts of different things,
Mhm.
which is so important because, I feel like I don't get to do that type of capacity in where I am at right now, just because there's not a lot of outlets to do so. But when I get the opportunity, I try my best to fully commit to what I need to do.
I love that. And I love that you make it a priority wherever you go. I mean, just to do something, even if it's something simple, because I feel like it's so hard when you're moving to find those organizations that connect with you, and just find those places that you're like, okay, I can go here continuously. I can serve. This aligns with
Right.
what I want to do and, the things that I'm passionate about. And so I love that you found that or you create it like you're crocheting. That's so cool. And I'm glad you talked about that. I'm excited to see more on your Instagram soon about that. I feel like that will be really cool to see, and it's definitely hard. I've tried crocheting like a couple times. It's not easy, and so making hats you mentioned before and different things like that, that will be definitely something big. It'll definitely go to make a difference. And one thing I wanted to ask is that you obviously have been a part of a variety of service projects, and for me, that's also been something that I love to get involved in whatever way I can. So for you, what's been like the biggest theme surrounding all of the service projects, or the passion that kind of motivates you to go, or is it something that is just like an opportunity comes and so you kind of delve into it?
I'm a little confused. Like, what exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah, so what is your like overall kind of theme? Is it all about, some people have a passion for literacy and so they kind of go and follow that wherever they go. For you, what's been that passion or motivation?
Right. Well, I just kind of serve whenever I can. So, I mean, it's for me, it's literally any way that I can help the person next to me. So, my sorority, Pi Beta Phi, we also are like leadership style is servant leadership. So literally in everything that even my own sorority does, and our way of service is read, lead, achieve. So it's all
Wow.
about literacy actually
Yes.
in schools. But in general, it's all about just having a servant's heart. And so that's also like my mom. I said earlier, my mommy raised me with good works in our daily lives. Like it wasn't just you know oh, we're going to volunteer at this soup kitchen this one time and then we're done. It's like
Mhm.
every single day we're looking for ways to help other people, even
For
if
sure.
it's not like, oh, I'm going to sign up to volunteer, even if it's small acts of kindness. That's really important part of having a servant's heart. And so I was raised looking for opportunities to help other people every single day. And so when there's organizations like Ronald McDonald House, different food pantries, different animal rescues, there's literally something in every little capacity. All of those things can come together and they just create this web of different networks to go to in order to help people. And so instead of having to be like, going up to people being like, what do you need help with in your life? We're able to find those outlets to help
Mhm.
them. And then I guess as a child, my main theme was art literacy. I thought that everyone should be able to color, especially sick children in the hospital. So I created Arts for the Ages. And so that is where I packeted up a lot of different color crayons and coloring books and all sorts of different items like that and donated it to children in the hospital, in my local hospitals and across the world, so that they would have the opportunity to color, which is super fun. And I don't really do as much with it today. I still, am kind of active, but that was mostly when I was younger. Now, like I said, it is just anywhere at all that I can give my efforts is really important.
Absolutely. I think it's also too like service is not just an action, it's a lifestyle. And I think you're definitely a living example of that because as you said, it's wherever you go, you find a way to get involved and create that network. So that is so amazing. And thank you for sharing about all those involvements. I wanted to ask also about, you mentioned that you've transitioned in college a lot. What are you studying, and how has college life treated you so far?
Well, there's been a lot of ups and downs in how college life has treated me. I mean, like I said, I moved from a really big school that's really prominent in the entire country, if not the world. And then now I'm in like kind of a small town type school. So it's very different, definitely a culture shock. But regardless to that, I am studying communications. That's my major. And I just love being able to talk to people and, like I said, find opportunities to help people and talk to people. So I do have a minor in Asian studies since I
Ooh.
do speak five languages, and two of them are from Eastern Asia. And so that is like a majority of where I want to help people in the future. And then after I'm kind of done with that job, and once I get maybe a master's, we'll see. But I want to be a hairdresser one day. That
Ooh.
is like the ultimate. Yes. And I was noticing you got your hair cut. It looks so cute on you.
Thank you. This is the shortest I have ever gotten it cut.
Really?
But
I love it.
yeah, I think so I typically donate almost every year and so I was like I think it's time. It's actually my spring break this week and so I'm back home and so I was like maybe it's time because I've obviously we all have our favorite, hair people, nail people, everything, right? So I was like maybe it's time to go see it her and get it cut and I like it, but I feel like it's different.
Yeah, I
And
can
I love
definitely
that.
understand that.
Yes, yes. That's really cool that you want to be a hairdresser, though. I feel like you can, do a lot with that. You can make people feel beautiful, give them new looks. And that's super cool that you speak five languages. I'm curious to know what languages you speak, and maybe
Yeah.
you can teach me something.
Sure. So, the ones I'm most proficient in are French and English. I grew up, my mom's mom is from France, and so then my mom is half French. And so I grew up kind of with a lot of, even if they don't realize it, European and French culture just around me, just with like their own traditions and such. And then how we refer to different things and whatnot. It's like, oh yeah, that's actually very niche and, specific to France. And so that was really fun to have that cultural integration in my life. And um, even like I have a lot of children's books that are in French. And so even though I didn't speak it fluent as I would say as much as when I was younger, as I got older, like I was dedicated to making sure that I was bilingual. And that it was pretty equal footed. And then now, as I got older, I decided, well, I need to kind of add some more on there. And so I learned Spanish in primary school. And then once I got to secondary, towards the end of primary, maybe around when I was 12 or so, I just put an interest into wanting to learn another language other than the three. And so then I started speaking Korean and learning Korean.
Wow.
And then once I got more into high school, I then had a really strong interest. And so I like was working and wanting to pay my way to have a Korean tutor and also just learn the language and the culture. And it was such a blast. And I was very, very lucky to do so. I had a great teacher at Oregon Korean School. And then I moved on and had the opportunity my senior year of high school to go to, after to be a part of the Rose Festival in Portland. And that summer, I was actually crowned Rose Festival Queen. And part of the Queen's obligations is to go to Taiwan because we have a sister city there in the South.
Wow.
And so then the year after, I was able to go visit Taiwan during Lunar New Year. And it was an absolute blast. And while I was there, I learned they speak traditional Mandarin there. So that's where I learned Mandarin Chinese. And then I think that's it. Yeah. So that's the most recent one that I've learned. And granted, I am not fluent in all of them. Like it definitely takes me a second to get going. French and English easiest, and then Spanish I can get around in Mexico. I've done it before. And then Korean, I have to it's been a while since I've spoke Korean. So I have to kind of sit a second and
Mhm.
listen, and it takes me a good week of being immersed in it to be able to get back in the swing of things. And then Mandarin, I can only speak basic conversation.
Mhm. That's so cool, though. I mean, I love that you had the opportunity to go to Taiwan and get to learn it there. I mean, it's so different learning it while you are in another country versus like in your hometown, of course. And it's also such a wonderful experience getting to speak it. Like once you've learned it, like there's so much excitement getting to speak it in that country because you kind of get to practice and learn more about the culture there and just get to experience that too. Like I remember I learned Spanish in high school, and visiting Mexico, I loved just even though it wasn't like obviously fluent, I loved just getting to speak just conversational. It gives you a nice practice for sure, and allows you to learn so much about how things are spoken in different ways, and that is just so cool to me. So I love that.
Yeah, you said you wanted to learn something. Is
Yes,
there a specific
yes.
language you want to learn something in?
Oh my gosh, you choose. I don't
Um,
know either French, Mandarin, Korean. I don't know anything in those languages. So,
I was gonna say, we could learn how to say I love you in each of them.
okay, that's cute. I love that.
Okay, so in French, if you're talking like it's like we're like the same age where it's like a personal, you would never say I love you to a stranger, right?
Mhm.
So you're gonna say je t'aime.
Je t'aime.
Yep, good job. That's
Okay,
French. And
nice.
then Korean's pretty easy. It's 사랑해.
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 Yeah, or like some accents do like most of the time it's a hey, 사랑해.
사랑해.
But it just depends on how you pronounce it and like where
Nice.
you are. But yeah, I definitely have heard like most people will do saranghe, but
Mhm.
it like the H isn't as strong,
Mhm.
so that's why a lot of times people be like saranghe. Um, and then Chinese is I.
Hi.
That's the I. It's A I kind of pronounce I,
Okay.
and it's kind of just like I think that one is just the one for love. So it would be, yeah, that's what you would text, like if you were texting someone. I think the full phrase is something different, but that's like the general
That's so
connotation of.
cool. That is so cool. I did not know that. I mean, I've heard the French one before, but I have not heard the other two. So that is super cool.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you
what's
for teaching
interesting
me.
is the Chinese one. It's the same character in Japanese as well. And
Oh, wow.
Japan has like this alphabet. It's called kanji, and I is like I think it's I might be actually wrong about that. That could be hard, but I think it's love,
Okay.
and it's pronounced like AI. So like let's be kind of iffy about that one. But
Okay.
yeah, so and but I do know no matter what they are the same, and it's like super cool how their alphabets
Hmm.
overlap.
Hmm.
But yeah, sorry, I'll stop
No,
rambling.
I love that. You went full on like language professional. I love it. So thank you so much for teaching me. I love that. Maybe when I visit the countries, I could bring that with me when I make a friend there or something. I love it. Awesome. So you were talking a little bit about college, and of course, pageantry has also been a big part of your life as well. So how have that kind of overlapped as well with NAM and throughout your journey so far?
How has college and pageantry
Yeah.
overlapped?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. So, in high school, so I've done pageants since before I could walk. And in high school, I competed for Miss Oregon's Outstanding Teen, and I did win. And then I got because of that, through the Miss America organization, I did get a nearly full ride scholarship to the University of Alabama. And so I went to school there, and it was probably like the best experience of my life. Like if there was any school that I could tell someone to go to, it would be Alabama. Like I still am just absolutely in adoration of that school. It is the best school. And so down in the South, they are very accepting of pageantry because there's a lot of just
Mhm.
small random pageants that are done like every weekend. It feels like I'm always, people are like, did you hear?
Wow.
And I'm like, no, I didn't hear. Like I would not know about that.
Yeah, wow.
But it was just really funny. I'd go to church, and I swear every single weekend there was like a different thing that people
Wow.
told me about, and I was like, wow, thank you for letting me know, Sherla. I appreciate it. But yeah, so when I was in high school and where I was from, pageantry was not a socially acceptable thing. And so it was really hard, except for people that I grew up with doing pageants outside of those communities. It was really hard to kind of get understanding and acceptance of that. And so I was known as the weird girl that did pageants because pageants, the connotations with that was toddlers and tiaras or something bad. Or
Mhm.
or like something that you put yourself through that's not healthy, which I disagree with.
Yeah.
But it was really hard for me to even have like, the self-confidence to want to do them. And I did it for college. I do pageants for college scholarship and to pay my way and be debt free when I graduate. And so it was so frustrating, to have that type of feedback. Then Alabama, all I got was support. It's, oh, you're doing a pageant? Like, when is it? We'll be praying for you. Like, we're on your side. Let's go dress shopping. Let's do this. Let's do that. And, that is just so healing to be able to have that type of support from Tuscaloosa, the community. It was amazing. And Birmingham as well. I got so much support from people there. And so then moving on, I had to move to Idaho, and I was a little scared, and a lot of people up here are just fine with it. They don't really know what to think of it. And then I kind of tell them like a brief synopsis, and they're like,
Mhm.
wow, that is so cool. Good for you. So there is quite a good bit of support. They just don't quite understand
Yeah.
anything yet, but we're working on it. But the pageantry itself, I did Teen USA last summer, and then I did not win. I got first runner up at my state pageant. And so then I was like, well, I kind of want to do NAM again. And so then that's how I found my way to competing for the Miss Idaho Teen, winning that, and then competing for the National American Miss Teen this past November, where we met, and then winning that, which was so crazy because this was my ninth nationals, and
Wow.
I had never won a national title before. And so it was just absolutely mind blowing that I was able to have this opportunity this year.
That's an incredible journey. I love getting to follow all of your adventures so far this year. And also, I remember like we were talking briefly at Nationals that we had met as a preteen, like very
Yeah.
briefly. It's crazy how many connections that you can make and kind of cherish as you get older, which is super cool. And I remember watching, I think the live stream because you guys had the last teen pageant was like the last pageant of
Yes.
the week. And I was so excited to see, that you finally accomplished this goal. And, it was very, very amazing to see that in your journey.
Thank
And so
you.
throughout the week and even, just preparing, how do you feel like you balanced everything together? Because that's definitely difficult to do in all aspects of life.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I went to the gym a couple days while we were at nationals. Unfortunately, I didn't want to sweat off my tan, and so I couldn't really risk going every morning. And I also had really early hair and makeup call
Mhm.
times during pageant week, and so I didn't want to jeopardize my own health because I already was having to battle a 3-hour time zone change.
Wow, yeah.
And then also having to wake up early and try to go to bed at a decent time every night,
Mhm.
even though I wasn't tired. And on top of that, like trying to stay fit. It was really difficult for me. And so I did all of my assignments for school wise, that side of balancing things before I went, except for maybe two that I worked on when I would come home or go to the hotel room early that day, and then I would just work on an assignment. And then health wise, like I said, I was running. I actually PR'd a mile time I got sub 7. I got a
Wow.
6:48 mile
Oh
when I
my
was in
goodness. Wow.
Orlando. Yeah, and that was like the best I've ever done. It was a really big deal for me.
Yeah.
And I haven't had that since. So I think it was just good luck.
Adrenaline.
And yeah, it was just Orlando air that got me
Uh-huh.
that mile time. But so that's how I kind of balanced that wellness side. And then eating wise, I think I ate like 5 acai bowls from that like cafe
So good.
thing that was in the hotel. I was like, it was like the only thing I was wanting. I was craving fruit. So I just ate an acai bowl. And it was delicious every time with
Mhm.
coconut flakes, strawberries, and
Oh,
blueberries, and peanut butter on top.
oh my
Okay.
gosh. That
Mhm.
sounds so good.
That
Oh
sounds.
my gosh.
And then for competition wise, there was nothing else I could do. I had prepared as much as I could up until that point,
Yeah.
and to think I could change anything that week is just baloney pants. And so I was like, okay, like this is it. Like if I don't win, that's not his plan. Like it's not the plan. And that's just what it's just what it is. Like I'll
Mhm.
just go back home. And I've been wanting this for a long time and I've pictured this for myself, but oh well. And then I won and I was like, okay, so it all does come to a point. And I know everyone pictures themselves winning because I know I did it every other year. Maybe not everyone, but I know I did it every other year I competed and I never won. And so then that moment when it happened, when the stars aligned and everything that I had done and kind of I was in a different mental state and I was coming at it from a different mindset.
Mhm.
And there was a lot of growth since the last time I had come to NAM Nationals as well, I think, and all the people, the coaches and the team that I had to prepare me, that made a huge, phenomenal difference to the outcome for me
Mhm.
personally.
That's amazing. Honestly, hearing you speak about that moment gives me goosebumps. That is so incredible. And sometimes you just have to let go that week. Like, I think it can be stressful just in general. But if you just let go and let yourself do the things that, allow you to maintain that healthy mind and body, especially throughout the week, because it can get very busy. That's so important. So, thank you for sharing what you did throughout the week because I think that that's a great idea just to let yourself relax and think about things that you enjoy and love to do, like running, and you hit the record, which is awesome. for yourself. So that's so wonderful to hear. And we did get a question from someone before the live. They wanted to ask if, how pageantry has helped you in your day-to-day life, and do you find ways to incorporate pageants with college?
Mm. Well, my professors can certainly vouch that I definitely, especially after winning the national title, have had to miss a little bit of college for pageantry because I've had to do a lot of different national title holder events, and there's even more to come. But they're super supportive, like I said, so they don't really mind. But in regards to how it helps me, I mean, even just right now, our conversation and I can tell with you, you're a very intelligent woman. Our conversation is so far above our average age level right now. So many teens and young adults across the United States just aren't able to verbally communicate that well.
Mhm.
And pageantry, being in it, especially my whole life,
Mhm.
has taught me how to be a phenomenal public speaker and a phenomenal just communicator in general and learn. And there's still so much I'm always learning. As in fact, like I said, I'm a communications major, so
Yes.
everything I learn something new. And the thing is, though, is pageantry also has helped me pay for college. And so it is paying for this education that I am receiving on something that pageantry already built a foundation for. And so in every aspect I look, I wouldn't be able to be doing this without pageantry. That year of my life that I absolutely, a little over a year of my life, I absolutely adored in Alabama, that that would have never happened without pageantry. Like a
Yeah,
life-changing moment for
for
me, a
sure.
life-changing season and period. And so for me, it was just so crucially important to be involved in pageants. And I was talking with my best friend and I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to continue doing pageants, like, after I'm done with Miss America. That's my next goal after this title, is to maybe one day win a state title for Miss America. But again, I do pageants for my career growth, which is going to college, which is public speaking, which is interviewing, which is showcasing my community service and networking. That's why I do pageants. I've always said that. It's never just to, look pretty, which I love dressing up for. But I mean, I do it for career growth. And then as soon as I have my set career, then I will be done. And I will, I mean, that's just kind of how it is for me. But you never know what life holds. So I'm not going to say that's an end all catch all. But I also want to emphasize that there's not much time left for me in college. And so my time is suddenly getting a lot shorter on how I can spend my scholarship money.
Mhm.
And so that's why it is so important now for me to be as involved in pageants as possible so that I can still retain that community because I still am in college. And so I still am looking for the career development and career growth.
Mhm.
And that all those things are just so important for me as a person, as Deja, not just as the NAM teen, having to say thank you to all the sponsors, right? I mean, I love our sponsors. Without them, I wouldn't be able to have that career growth. I wouldn't be able to do all those things. And
Mhm.
so that's a huge part of it, is learning how to um, have that communication with the social media side and thanking the sponsors, and balance that with college needs as well,
Yep.
and also balance that with Deja's needs.
Mhm.
And so it's kind of a trifecta that hopefully will continue for at least another few years.
Mhm.
But my college season is coming to a close, and so it's kind of up in the air of what
Mhm.
else pageants have to offer me post college.
That's so beautifully said. I feel like, in pageants, not a lot of people think about the scholarships that you're able to have and also the experiences that you get. Like you said earlier, like a lot of people just see the exterior. They think that it's just about, looking pretty, but it's much more than that. It's about the networking, the connections that you make, the people that you meet, and all the different opportunities you have throughout it. So I think it's definitely important to continue to build that career development, however you find that outlet. You know, it could be different for so many people, but pageantry is a great launch pad to be able to do that for sure. And so that's awesome. And I'm excited to also see more about your year. You know, what is something that you're still looking forward to for the rest of the year as the NAM team?
Sure. I still am really wanting to focus on my service with Ronald McDonald House, being an ambassador at the national level for Ronald McDonald House. That's something I really want to highlight. I really just want to focus on how I can start like nationwide building service through communities and through National American Miss with Ronald McDonald House. So that's a key point of emphasis. And then beyond that, I honestly don't know. Every day is just a new thing that I'm looking forward to, whether that's seeing my sister queens who are honestly, we're like a little family. So it's just really great to see everyone. I'm seeing actually everyone in just a few days
Ooh,
in Kansas City.
so
I'm also seeing the
exciting.
International Junior Miss Court. So it is so, like, I'm so pumped up and ready to go for that one. And then I also get to travel a little bit over the next few months for, they call it the summer tour.
Yes.
For me, that's what they call it, I think. I'm a little out of touch, but it's definitely a big part of the title, but I don't think, again, I'm such a communicator. I just like to connect with people. And so being able to do that and then connect my point of service to this platform is so important to me.
That's amazing. I'm excited to see, you know, all the adventures and things you mentioned. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, for talking. I really loved getting to hear your story of service and your journey so far. And before we end, I always ask guests this one question, which is, what is your message for the youth, especially, you know, or something that you would want to tell your younger self?
Sure. It's definitely going to be continue marching to the beat of your own drum. So many people of my peerage all dress the same. They look the same. They sound the same. They want the same brands. They want the same things. I am going to blame social media and say that we have influencers and people who are saying to get these certain things, or people that make things popular, or one person wears this and I want to wear it too, and just popular brands. I mean, you probably can think of 10 off the top of your head. I know I can. And so don't fall into that and just continue doing your own thing. I know that is one very unique thing about my personality, is I am not your typical pageant girl. Surprise. Like, I have so many unique facets about me, and I don't even like look like a typical like pageant girl that you would normally find. You might be thinking, well, what is a typical pageant girl? Well, we're not going to go into that. But that I, with my personality, with my looks, with how my platform is, with how I talk, what I do, my actions, even, they're also different. And that's okay. And it is
Yep.
perfectly okay and all right for you to continue just being kind, being yourself, doing your own thing, as long as it does not harm those around you. That is perfectly acceptable, and you will be more successful and be so much happier in your life if you follow yourself rather than what social media is trying to tell you, what
Yep.
your peers are trying to tell you to do.
That's really great advice. It's definitely hard to do when everybody else, you know, is doing something and you want to do your own thing, but take it from Deja. She's lived through the experience and is such a phenomenal role model. So thank you so much for sharing your story, Deja. I loved getting to talk with you and get to reconnect with you. And it's just been such an amazing conversation. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Bonnie. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you
You
later.
too. Thank you all so much for tuning in and hope you join the next one and have a great rest of your day. Bye.